What up, boys? Welcome back to a new video. Now, I feel like it's time to talk about this again. Now, obviously, we talk about this every now and then, right? The best knives, because we do have a huge amount of knives when it comes to Valorant, obviously. Some of them are pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we literally got top tier knives, and this is what I love about Valorant, right? But with Valorant, we slowly are starting to get a huge variety of knives. Usually, back in the day, you know, we only had swords and daggers, right? Usually, that's what we got. But nowadays, we do have a huge variety. We have the Origin Melee, for example, or even the Runation Blade, the Sentinels of Light Blade, or, you know, even the Fan, which I feel like is, you know, one of the most loved skins in the community. We'll talk about this one a little bit later. But now, taking all of these knives into account, I want to give you guys my top 5. I want to break down which my favorite knife skins are in the entire game. As always, if you like the content, make sure to subscribe down below. I would love to reach 50k before the end of the year. And yeah, let's get into it. Now, the 5th place is a classic. The 5th place is one of the OG knives, the Sovereign Melee. I think the Sovereign Melee, or, you know, rather the Sovereign Sword, is one of the best looking swords, knives in the game. Whatever you want to call it, right? The design is on point. I do love the slight animation that the knife has, you know, the blue smoke around the knife. I do love that. I think Sovereign has a pretty nice aesthetic around its skin line, especially on the sword. I do think it's a 10 out of 10. I also love the sword animation. Now, the only problem with this animation is that we usually get to see it all the time nowadays with the Battle Pass skins, right? In every Battle Pass, we get the sword animation, and that's why people are getting bored of it. However, though, I think the Sovereign Sword is an OG knife, which definitely deserves the 5th place. And then for the 4th place, we don't have a sword. We have a dagger. In fact, we have the Glitch Pop Dagger. The Glitch Pop Dagger, I think, is a top tier skin as well. It's one of the more pricey melees in Valorant. It's priced at 4,350 Valorant points. But then again, I feel like this is one of the best daggers if we talk about design, if we talk about aesthetics. You know, Glitch Pop in general, I feel like it's one of the better skin lines when it comes to premium skins. And if I remember correctly, this knife was the first one to have a gimmick to it, right? Just like with the Spectrum Melee, which plays music, this one changes its color based on the pullout, right? So whenever you pull out the Glitch Pop knife, you get a random color, which I feel like is one of the best things about this melee. You know, having a gimmick which comes in addition to all the animations is great. It gives the knives that much more value. Again, just like with the Spectrum Melee, we do have nice animations, but we also have the music playing. I feel like those little gimmicks make these knives that much better. So I feel like the Glitch Pop Dagger is definitely a deserved 4th place, even though it's a bit more pricey. And then when we jump onto the 3rd place, we have the biggest OG knife of all time. It has to be the Riva Dagger. You know, the first premium knife to ever release in Valorant, even back in the beta. I love this knife. You know, it's simple, it's edgy, it has everything that you want to see in an edgy dagger, I feel like. So the Riva Dagger is one of the most loved skins by the community, and rightfully so. I mean, the price is pretty nice for the Riva Dagger. It's priced at 3,550 Valorant points, which is a pretty decent price considering all the prices that we get in recent times, right? It has all the good animations you want to see within a premium melee, and also a nice inspect sound effect even. That's also something that I always appreciate, the sound effect when it comes to knives. So yeah, I really do feel like the Riva Dagger will always stay a top tier knife in Valorant. I feel like it's very tough to beat the Riva Dagger when it comes to design in terms of like edgy skins, right? So yeah, I feel like Riva Dagger always a top tier skin, and in my list, it's the 3rd place. Now the 2nd place is pretty interesting. I thought about this a long time, and back in the day, I wouldn't have put this melee into the 2nd place. But nowadays, I've learned to appreciate this knife. The Celestial Fan, I feel like, is one of the best knives within Valorant, and in my tier list, it definitely does deserve the 2nd place. And here's why. Now, I've said this before. Back in the day, we had 3 types of knives, basically. You know, the default knife, the daggers, and the swords, right? People wanted more variety. People wanted something different animations, and that's exactly what the Celestial Fan has given us. It's a completely different type of melee, right? It's not even a knife, it's a literal fan, which I feel like is a nice gimmick. It still fits into the game, like it doesn't look out of place, which I do appreciate. The colorway is pretty nice, but the best thing about this melee is the animation. You know, the inspect, the pull-out animation, it's great. That's what I love this knife. That's the reason why I put this onto the 2nd place. It's something completely new. It's satisfying animation, which I do love to use. I love to use this knife just for the pull-out animation. It just feels so satisfying using this weapon, and I don't have that with many knives. I honestly don't have this with many knives. So, you know, just for the satisfying animation, this melee definitely deserves a 2nd place, at least in my list. I mean, obviously, some of you guys probably won't like this knife. I know that many people say that the fan does look out of place, but I do think it fits into the game, and overall it's a great melee. And now let's finally get to the 1st place, and I feel like this is kind of an obvious one, just for the fact that this one is so cheap compared to all the other knives, and yet has everything you look for in a premium knife even. and that's the Rune Dagger. The Rune Dagger, I feel like we've talked about this in so many videos. It is a battle pass knife, which it's huge. It's the best battle pass knife out of all of the battle passes that we had in Valorant. It has everything that you look for, even in the premium skin, right? It has a custom animation. It has a nice right click. I love the way it looks. The design is pretty clean, even for, you know, a battle pass skin. This could have been a premium knife, I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that this is limited makes it that much better because, you know, people are in love with this knife. And again, the best thing about this is that it literally only costs $10. Now, compare this one to any other premium knife and tell me if this ain't worth it compared to all of the other ones, right? Just because of the pricing even. So, yeah, it's, I feel like, the best knife in Valorant if we take everything into account. Not just design, but also price. It's fucking cheap compared to all the premium knives. I mean, obviously you had to grind for this and it's not available anymore, but most of the people who actually have this knife will agree with me that this is the best knife in Valorant. Now, we also have knives like the butterfly knives, you know, honorary mentions, you know, the Recon butterfly knife, the Euro butterfly knife, or, you know, even the Karambit, you know, the what was it called, the Prime Karambit. Those are nice skins, but I feel like they're missing something in terms of, like, butterfly knives. We don't have a great design. If we had something like the Riva butterfly knife, for example, or an iron butterfly knife, that would definitely be even, I feel like, the best skin in Valorant. But right now, we don't have the best skin design for a butterfly knife, and that's why I didn't put them in my list. And the same goes for the Karambit. Even though the Prime Karambit does look nice, I don't feel like it can beat any of the skins that I mentioned here in this video. So that's why these are not on the list, which doesn't mean that those are bad knives at all. But yeah, this is my final list. Those are my top 5 knife skins in Valorant right now. I mean, obviously you guys could have a completely different opinion, and that's completely fine. This is just my list. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you do have a different opinion. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I catch you on the next one.